I want to talk to you about how to make friends as an adult. I'm going to share 5 simple and easy steps to help guide you through this process. I've been noticing that a lot of people, whether they're in their 20s, early 20s, or either 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s, that are feeling quite lonely. Like they're actually struggling to make friends in these different ages and different age groups. So I would say, as adults in general, on the screen are the chapters for the video. And on my channel, you're going to find self-development content, healthy recipes, guided meditation recordings, overall wellness. So if you want to approach health in a holistic way, then do subscribe to my channel. So let's get started. Step number 1, the first thing I want to talk about is identifying the reason why you might be struggling to make friends. There could be many different reasons. So let's kind of go over some of the most common ones. The first one being perhaps time. Like you're really busy with work or responsibilities or children or all these different things. That could be a reason where you're not able to make friends. Another one is we live in a world where so many things are done virtually. So essentially you are ordering your groceries online and you're shopping online and you're doing home workouts using YouTube from your house. So you're not maybe going to a physical gym. University, a school, and certifications, a lot of those are being done online, obviously because it's super convenient and saves a lot of time, but at the same time we're not getting as much human interaction. Another one could be like our social perception of like friendships. Like maybe we see a lot of things on TV or movies about like this idealistic kind of friendships and how those would look like. Just to give you an example, like you see a lot of these things on TV where it's like, oh, those two best friends from when they were like in kindergarten and they're like in their 50s and they're like besties. While that could be the case, and for some people, and in some cases, today's world, people have got actually multiple friends, and you have compatibilities and interests in these friendships in different capacities to different people. So you are getting fulfilled from friends and companionship from different people for different things. So maybe that's more realistic than what we've been told how a friendship should look like. Maybe fear of rejection. People have had, I don't know, bad experiences with friendships, so they have fear from these friendships or fear of getting rejected. Social anxiety, I see this a lot. People are having, like, again, because we're also living in a much more virtual world, and I think that there's also, I don't know if it's a rise in mental health or anxiety. So it's brewing more social anxiety cases of people having more social anxiety. So like, how do you navigate through those settings where you're able to make new friends? Maybe people have started to move away, like whether you move to a different country for studies or for work, or your friends have moved out of the country for different reasons. Moving on to step number 2, I think it's important to understand in step 1 what are the potential reasons behind why you're struggling to make friendships. And that way, if for step number 2, you can start working on those things, right? Like being more proactive in response to that. So for example, if you are somebody who's experiencing social anxiety, then maybe you can work on your confidence or work on breath work, or, like get professional help where helps you with tips and tricks and things that help you manage that. For example, one of the reasons why you're unable to make friends is because you're super busy with work. Then obviously in that case, you need to identify what the reason behind why you're struggling to make friendships, and obviously try to make an effort in that area. So if it's time, then make an effort to make more time. If it's people in different stages of their lives, then perhaps, try to reach out to some of your friends that are in the same stages of their lives. And step number 2, what I would say is just really try to identify where the issue is and trying to find solutions to be able to work on. Step number 3 is accepting people and their differences. Like, I feel like we live at a time and in a world where there are so many judgments about people that are different than us. We need to accept people for who they are. Like, obviously, you want to find people that are similar to you in terms of your lifestyle and the way you think and your approach in life and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, that's helpful and more likely to be able to find compatibility and be able to have friendships with those people. But also at the same time, having realistic expectations when you meet people. Like, and I think that goes back to what I said earlier are on like, at the end of the day, what expectation do we have for friendships? Is it based on like movies and what we've seen where like that person can read your mind and finish your sentence kind of a friendship, or friendships are coming in different shapes and colors and forms? Again, I will say that obviously the more things that you have in common and the more similar you are, is more likely that you guys will find compatibility. But at the same time, like, we're all different. So I feel like sometimes people that struggle with friendships, from like the people even I know personally, I think they find others strange. Like, they're too weird. Like, you hear these comments like, oh, this person is weird, that person is weird. It's kind of because there's also an expectation that, without realizing that they would expect them to think the same way, to behave the same way, to live the same way. And that's not realistic and that's not possible. Just being a bit open-minded when it comes to that, but obviously they can't be so different than you that you're not even compatible and you're trying to be friends with them. Like, obviously that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you find people that, like, you enjoy their company, you have great conversations with, you can see, like, you can see a friendship kind of happening, building there, then don't be turned off, or don't pursue a friendship because they might be different, have different kind of like lifestyle. Like, at the end of the day, let everybody be with their own lifestyle, as long as they're not harming anybody and they're good people, like, and they're treating you with respect. Then, where the differences are, like, they can be left where they are. They don't have to be necessarily discussed. You don't have to join each other in all sorts of, in everything. Like, if they're having certain part of their lifestyle that is not compatible with yours, like, you don't have to meet in those kind of contexts, but rather like where it makes sense for both of you, and as long as obviously like there's compatibility and enjoyment there. Having said that, obviously you don't want to also pick out any friendships out of desperation, in the sense that, like, it's important, like, as long as they're like, being respectful and they're good people and they're being respectful towards you, then obviously that's, you're not kind of settling for anything or anyone just because you're desperate and you're settling for any kind of friendship. Step number 4 is fish for friendships for where they're congregating. Okay. I know it sounds a bit funny, but like, a good place to start if you're trying to make new friends is going to places that are of interest to you, right? Like, ideally you want to make friendships with people that have similar interests, right? Where would that be? Let's say, for example, you are somebody who loves fitness. Then, going to the gym is a good idea versus doing workouts at home, or striking conversations with people at the gym when you're there to try to find, like, kind of make friendships. If you're somebody, for example, who loves reading books, what about joining some book clubs? If you're somebody who loves to travel, like, what about connecting with people in, Facebook groups that are related to travel or whatever? Like, go to where they are, find them where they are. If you're somebody who is single and you want to make friendships with people with a similar lifestyle, because the friends that you have that are married with kids are, like, for example, like, there's less compatibility at this stage in your lives, then hanging out with all of them, you're probably not going to find other people that are sharing the same kind of lifestyle. Step number 5 is work on yourself. Know your worth. If you are struggling to make friendships, like, you might think like, oh, I'm unusual, I don't fit in, like, nobody wants to be my friend, or having those weird, like, negative thoughts and beliefs about yourself. It's important to work on yourself and know your worth, that you're somebody who deserves to have friendships and you're worthy of finding people that you share interests with. And yeah, like, working on yourself, on your like confidence, on your being open-minded, like accepting people for who they are instead of expecting them to be copy paste cut out of yourself. Working on that perception and those mentality and that mindset, and just, yeah, like, being more tolerant. I think that's an important one to keep in mind when you are trying to make friends. Those are my 5 steps to help you make friends as an adult. I hope you found this video useful, and if you found this video interesting, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I've got a whole lot of different kind of videos that are on like personal development, guided meditations, healthy recipes, like when you're feeling good about yourself, when you're looking after your health with what you eat, with what you're feeding your soul, your mind, and your body. Then obviously, that will only make you a happier person, open up more opportunities for you. If that is something that interests you, then make sure to subscribe, because that's the kind of content you will find on my channel. Hope to see you in the next video.